Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of What's Up Bro with Zachariah at Lokman Adam Podcast. A lot has been happening in the month of Ramadan this year. A lot of good happenings are coming from the Kerajaan Perpaduan. At the same time, we have a lot of weird things happening, such as Tun Mahathir is playing his famous Aku Dah Lupa game. Recently, while commenting on former Prime Minister Ismail Sabri's case, Mahathir was talking about separation of powers and judiciary. It was funny to watch as he was alluding that the Madani government is somehow framing Ismail Sabri. Dato,
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think Dr. Mahathir thinks that this current Madani government is just like his government. You remember VK Lingam video?
Correct.
Yeah, correct. Even Tan Sri Tommy Thomas, in his book Justice in Wilderness, he acknowledged that he was pressured by the executive to do certain prosecution which are politically motivated. If you still remember, the constitutional crisis 1988,
Yeah.
whereby Tun Saleh Abbas was sacked as the Lord President,
Yes.
is during Mahathir's tenureship. And then ISA was used not to protect this country from the threats of the communists, but he used ISA to eliminate all his critics.
That's history.
Yeah. Even I myself was detained under ISA twice, not only once. The first time in 1998 for 2 months. The second time in 2001 until 2003 for 2 years and 2 months. That's during Mahathir's time.
Were you a threat to the country in any way at that time?
Threat to him.
So it is definitely a case of saya sudah lupa lah.
It's not saya sudah lupa, it's Melayu mudah lupa. And I agree with him. Even now, after Mahathir's coalition, GTA, Gerakan Tanah Air, lost all the 140 seats they contested.
Right.
There are still people who respect Mahathir.
Kiss his hand.
Meaning that they never learn. And they easily forgive what Mahathir have done. The rate of people committing suicide increased by 143% during Muhyiddin's tenureship.
Right.
People still voted for Perikatan Nasional during 15th general election.
Right.
It's not a small amount. It's 4.2 million. So I agree with Tun Dr. Mahathir. He's right. Melayu mudah lupa.
So this time around, when he is talking about judiciary, alluding that the Madani government is somehow framing Ismail Sabri, dia sudah lupa lah.
Yeah.
What happened in his time?
No, I think he remember what he did and he thinks everybody else will do the same.
Okay. Dato,
Yeah.
PMX is looking into limiting the Prime Minister's post for only 2 terms or 10 years. What is your view on this, as it is proven that wrongdoing can be done in 22 years, in 17 months, or even in just 15 months?
There are pros and cons. Mahathir made that suggestion to limit the premiership only for 2 terms.
Right.
When did he do it? When he is 93. He knew that he might not survive more than 10 years. But why didn't he suggest this when he was the Prime Minister for 22 years?
Good question.
Yeah. The same thing with Khairi Jamaluddin. He suggested that the youth chief of UMNO should be below 35.
Right.
But when he made that suggestion, he's already 41. But when he was 35, he never came out with this suggestion.
Interesting.
This is the first term of Dato' Sri Anwar. And he's already talking about limiting himself for only 2 terms. For me, I can see this is his sincere opinion to limit himself and also the next Prime Minister
While still in power.
when he's still in power. But there are also cons.
Right.
For example, let's say Khairi is still in UMNO.
Right.
He never say bad things about the party during the election. He might still be in UMNO. If let's say he is still in UMNO, at his age, he might be the prime minister when he is 50. If you limit only 10 years, by the time he reach 60, he is still energetic, he is still strong, full of ideas. He might be more matured. He can be a much more better prime minister after 60. But if you limit it to only 2 terms,
Right.
he will have to resign. This is what happened to Obama, Clinton. They cannot go more than 2 terms. So there are pros and cons. For me, let the public decide.
Okay.
If the prime minister is good, people will make sure that he stays in power.
Right.
If the prime minister is corrupt, if the prime minister misuse his power, or maybe he behave like Hitler. So let the public decide whether they want to keep him as the prime minister or not.
So do you think there are more pros or more cons?
I consider this suggestion as a sincere suggestion.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's good, and I'm not saying it's bad.
Okay.
There are pros and cons. For me, when Dato' Sri Anwar suggested during his first term, I can see the sincerity. I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, because there are pros and cons.
The opposition leader Hamzah Zainuddin's interview in KJ's podcast last week was both laughable and insane. Dato', Bersatu, the same party that was formed to destroy UMNO, to bury UMNO, now wants to work with UMNO. Is this a bad joke, insanity, desperation, or all three?
All three.
Okay.
All three. Every time when they are facing problems, they will come out with this kind of nonsense. Muhyiddin is facing his court case. Hamzah Zainuddin's son also facing his court case today. And we can see, even though that Muhyiddin said they are not going to negotiate with the government,
Right.
in order to take the allocation from the government. But a day after that, Taqiyuddin said that they are willing to negotiate with the government.
Okay. So there's no agreement among them.
It seems that they themselves are not united anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, they are divided.
That's all. Thinking Malaysians are asking, is this latest gymnastic act by Bersatu as highly likely attempt to get rid of corruption charges against some high-profile Bersatu leaders? People are asking if former Prime Minister Ismail Sabri's dating with SPRM have now rattled Bersatu. They goyang already. Can it be the case?
Yeah, there's a possibility. And I think it is normal for everybody to have this kind of perception. Because whenever they are in trouble, they will start talking about working together with UMNO. But I think people have the right to know what is the actual Bersatu's motive. Let them explain why before this they want to kill us, now they want to cooperate with us. And we are not stupid. We have given them the chance. Before this, when the Sheraton move happened, BN have 42 seats. Bersatu only have 32 seats. And from that 32 seats, 5 of them won the election using PKR's logo.
Okay.
16 of them, they stole from BN. 9 plus 2, they stole from PKR. And yet, BN gave them the prime ministership. They didn't even give us the deputy prime minister post. When Muhyiddin got desperate, then only he appointed Ismail Sabri as the deputy prime minister. Of course, there is presumption of innocence. When a person is investigated, that does not mean that he or she is guilty. But you cannot legislate how people should use their brains.
Okay.
People have the right to ask what they want to ask and perceive what they want to perceive. So it's up to Bersatu to answer the people.
Dato', according to Hamzah Zainuddin in the interview, leaders should throw their egos and be straightforward for the sake of the country. Do you agree with him?
Yes, I agree with him 100%. Bersatu leaders should throw their ego, be straightforward, and dissolve Bersatu for the sake of the country. After all, Bersatu is formed to hijack UMNO struggle and bury UMNO. Bersatu tried to be UMNO. Even their logo, they copy it from us. But they are not UMNO. UMNO wasn't born yesterday.